Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures. Today I got a box in the mail and I cannot wait to open it and check out what I got. This came to me from Estudio in Spain. This was part of their MythExplorers 4 campaign. And let me be honest with you, I have absolutely no idea anymore what I actually pledged for. I just went with one of the basic sets. And it kind of irked me at the time because all of the sets were actually limited in number. And the one that I really wanted got snatched up super quickly and I couldn't get it. But I begrudgingly got this one. I think it was the one that had like various Lord of the Rings type models, which coincidentally have actually ended up on their Patreon now, which is kind of funny. But actually some of these models look really familiar, come to think of it. Anyway, at the time, this was before Patreon became a big thing and before Estudio had even started to establish themselves on there. This campaign actually had a lot of good deals. They threw in a ton of freebie models, and who am I to complain about free models, right? I don't know. Okay, first off, I don't know what I'm doing to open this. What is this? I'm going to break this, aren't I? You know what? It doesn't matter. It's not like I'm going to store stuff in it. Ooh, okay. Well, I'll hold on to that discount code thing. Let's see. So this was just one pledge. I didn't add anything. Just went with the basic. Let's see how many figures we've got here so far. There's 4, 5. just a pile of stuff. All right. One thing I will say, these are really cleanly cast, and I've never had an issue with Estudio stuff. You can see there's a little bit of flash under his arm there, but that is a perfect looking Aragorn. It's also a lot larger than the GW stuff, so if you wanted to, swap these in for an actual Lord of the Rings strategy game figure, you're going to be kind of out of luck. They're a lot bigger. I mean, honestly, he's closer in size to a Conquest figure than he is to an actual, typical GW human. So, something to be aware of. And if you're like me and you just don't care about the scale, then hey, more power to you. Alright. I mean, look at the quality there. Really nice, solid. Yeah, there's a little bit of cleanup necessary, but just... And the feel of the texture of the resin. Really nice. Not slimy. It is a bit stinky, and I have a feeling that some of this was cast at the same location as some of the other Spanish resins I have. It has a distinct smell to it. It's not like Mearsa's resin. If that makes sense. I love the smell of Mearsa's resins. This, not so much. Okay. How many are we at now? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 models. You look like you should probably have a sword or something. Nobody could ever deny that Estudio definitely knows their market. They are very cheesecake oriented. Not that it's necessarily a bad thing. They're also one of the few sculpting studios that really actually have a bit of an anime influence, or as I like to describe it, a Korean MMORPG style. Okay, well, she's got one arm at least. Oh, there's our perfect Legolas. Please don't break. That's really nice looking. Again, scale is a little bit bigger. Be aware. What else we got in here? Oh, no way. I think I just printed this guy the other day for my brother. Or a variation on him. Okay, cool. Dang, how many people are we at now? And then there's a bunch of random limbs. Okay, I know some of those go to this model in here. And then... Ooh, that's going to be delicate. Sadly, there are no bases included. If you're in need of bases, well, maybe if you don't do the Kickstarter, they'll send them. I don't remember. I know I've ordered from Estudio a few times. That is totally one of those little Final Fantasy 11 peoples. Should I zoom this out? I mean, there's a ton of it at this point. So I'm looking at about 12 figures so far, and I want to say that it was probably, I don't know, I'm going to say like 40, 50 euros for a bunch of resin models. I really can't complain in terms of both the value, the quality. The only thing that irked me was the fact that I couldn't pick out the specific models I wanted. They had a really cool looking paladin guy. Wait, there's a pair of... Oh, there's another guy in here. So we're looking at what, 13 models now? Nice looking armor. And then I know there's some of you out there that really like big 75mm style models. Check that out. They actually do produce them, and it's pretty nicely cast. I've never painted anything this large. It is so, like, Lineage 2 looking girly. There's all sorts of stuff still floating around in here. I don't know who that belongs. Is this hers? Is it like a katana thing? Is she pulling it out from somewhere? Okay, it's like that. So yeah, if you're into the bigger stuff, they do have quite a variety. Is this hers? I don't even know. There's still various staves. This is Hades. I know I saw him before. Oh, wait a sec. I recognize this one. They were going to have her on Patreon. Oh, okay. Interesting. This just looks like a casting gate. Somebody's shield. I don't know whose. Another casting gate. Ah, here's the sheath for the katana. And what delicate little bit of hair do I have floating around in my hand? I'm going to lose it. And something, I don't know. Okay, well, gotta say, one way or the other, this is a lot of bang for my buck. So I will go ahead. I'm going to attempt to sort this mess out. We will get everything built and glued together, and we'll take a look at the final results. So hang tight. Okay, we got most of our pledge put together and cleaned up here. And again, as I was saying, these are some really solid casts. And funny thing is, a lot of these models are actually available now on their Patreon. So if you've got access to a printer, you could totally go print a good chunk of them up yourself. I don't know if they're going to get this cleanly cast. This is just solid. Solid, solid, nicely done. Unfortunately, I'm still kind of ticked about the fact that I had to pick one of the pledge groups for the Kickstarter that I wasn't as excited about. They're not bad models in any sense of the word. Not at all. I mean, they're really nice looking, especially if you're into the Lord of the Rings type stuff. I kind of am not, to be honest. It's a part of my childhood growing up, but I've kind of moved on in terms of fantasy stuff. They're also kind of big. I think if you wanted to actually use these, and these are the cast ones. I mean, obviously, if you do the 3D print stuff, you can just go tweak it to whatever settings you're happy with. But for the cast resin pieces from their website, like these guys, just be aware they're going to be a little bit larger than the typical Lord of the Rings figure. So as I look for like a Frostgrave model, because to me they're kind of almost the same size, you can see there's going to be a bit of a discrepancy. So if you had these in mind for actually playing Lords of the Ring strategy game, that might be an issue going forward. Just be aware. It could just be me, because looking at the Witch Hunter here, they're more in line with each other. I don't know. I don't know. Look at the quality of that casting. It's really nice. I mean, that is a nice looking... Is there an emblem on his? I don't know what that means. Maybe you guys know your runes. I don't. We're missing somebody. The princess chick. With the knives. Like, yeah, there we go. I don't even know her name. Aranor? I don't remember. And casting, really nice. I'll have to find a use for them. I mean, they're just really good looking kits. But it was so crazy how many models they ended up including as stretch goals. And like I said, a lot of these have actually been released through their Patreon. So if you don't see them in stock on the website, which happens way more than I'd like it to happen, you know, you can always go that route. This one was a pain getting her blade to attach. It's funny, some of the figures are a little flat. I shouldn't say flat, but stiff in terms of their poses. And then others are just like lively and dynamic. I still like that Legolas, and even he's a little flat. I can't stand her pants. Spell Slinger, Sellsword. I can't hold her in my hand. Hopefully I don't break her. That is totally Cloud's sword. Should I paint her up like Cloud then, I guess? That might be kind of fun, actually. Kind of purple. Random demon lady included. Hades type model. He doesn't have any feet, I just realized. It's all empty under there. Not that I'm looking up skirts or anything. Cloaks. Whatever they may be. Whoever they may belong to. That hair is just waiting for me to break it. She was a single piece, I think. I can't recall now. I've got a potion. Now, this is an interesting one because I saw she's supposed to be on their Patreon as well. Her back is completely sculpted, but a bit of a Fate vibe. She's supposed to have, as I try to do this in front of, there we go, a cape piece cloak. And I haven't made up my mind if I want to keep that on or leave it off. Decisions, decisions. And then still one of the coolest models in the set. I don't even like cats, but that's an awesome model. He's a spell book, but he's supposed to be hanging out with the little Final Fantasy XI looking girl. And then finally we have this model. I don't know what she's up to. I'm assuming she's a mage or something. She doesn't have any gear. She's just dressed for success. Whatever she may be doing. I gotta give Estudio credit. They do come up with really nice looking sculpts. I mean, yeah, they veer off into cheesecake territory, but you know, sometimes that's fun to paint too. If you're not easily offended or that doesn't bother you, you might want to check it out. And it's also worth mentioning that Estudio is one of the few, and I know I have people often mention they're not big fans of the size, but they would prefer seeing stuff in larger scales. One of the craziest stretch goals was they actually included one of their larger pinup models as a freebie, which I thought was kind of cool. And she was just offered up on their Patreon as well for their 1,000 subscribers or something. But this is cast resin. I had a hard time fitting her hand in. I needed to clean that out. But, you know, she was like, what, 3 pieces or something? Something really different. I can't say I've painted anything at this scale before. It looks closer to 75 millimeter than 54 even. So, I mean, yeah, if I grab like, he's like 50 or 60. So definitely something different. And I gotta say, I mean, I dig the style. It's very MMORPG flair looking, and you don't really see that a lot on the tabletop. And I know they have quite a few artists in China and Korea that they've worked with that do a lot of these designs. And one of the cool other stretch goals they had, besides all these models, was they actually put out like an art book PDF of a lot of the background work that was done for these models, as well as the other models that they offered up in limited quantities, which still, and I'm going to keep saying it, it kind of bugged me, because I really would have preferred some of the other choices than the Lord of the Rings stuff. And I don't think the a la carte got all the stretch goals or something at the time. I don't remember what the deal was. Anyway. So if you've never ordered from Estudio, yeah, they are in Spain, so it does take some time if you are in the States. I'm not sure what the current situation is pandemic-wise and how that's affected shipping, but I gotta give them credit. They did get this Kickstarter out, and I mean, not as a knock on them, but it just seems like every time I've had any mishaps with Kickstarter pledges, it always seems like they're coming out of Spain. And it's not any kind of knock on these guys, because they put out some stellar casts. They got here despite all the craziness going on in the world, and I truly do appreciate that. And I mean, they've sent out every order I've ever made in a reasonable amount of time, and I know I've made some post-pandemic as well, so don't fret if you want to make an order. We'll put a link down below, and they always are running some kind of special, so do check that out. And I know they also do a lot of fantasy football pledges on there as well, so that might be something that may interest you if you're into that kind of thing too. So, with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.